takes Ireland off our hands and really closes us in. Catastrophic long term. So it's a bit of a race against time. Welcome back to CK2. We come into a situation where there are a lot of wars going on. The ever-turbulent Duchy of the Isles is in another revolt, this vassal here attempting to take them out. However, the Duke of Northumbria has joined in to suppress the revolt, so that's going to end. At the moment, in fact, this revolting vassal is sieging down the territory of their husband, who's not joined in the revolt, presumably because he himself also has a claim on the Isles and wants to have a go after she's finished. The King of Germany has just lost an attempt against the King of Denmark to take back these lands here in a holy war. And the King of Denmark is extremely powerful. There we can see vassal allied troops, so it has about 16,000 troops, and that's after his war with Germany. And of course he was joined by other Germanic rulers defending their faith. He's actually reformed the Germanic faith, which will centralise the power of the religion, make it more uniform, like with Catholicism versus small religious sects, which pagan religions more traditionally would be. He's also launched an invasion against the Kingdom of Scotland. So the north of England is also going to fall to, the north of the British Isles are also going to further fall to his sphere of influence. He's already got the Shetlands and some pieces of Ireland at the moment. So we're going to have to move fast to consolidate our power in the British Isles. We saw before some of these new casus belli. Forced vassalization costs 1,000 prestige. Now, we were a very prestigious person, so we were able to use that to subjugate Wales. However, that's not repeatable for us. This border dispute casus belli, which basically means just declare war without any other reason to take a county, well, it means you don't have a reason. So it's very expensive, and people hate you because you're being unjust. And established tributary state, this is very similar to a vassal contract. We get some of their income, some of their levies to enhance our army. We can't call them into war as an ally, but we have to defend them. It's very similar to a vassal contract, just to a slightly lesser extent of how much they're giving us. However, we do not have we don't have enough majesty to do this. That's in the cultural technology tree. The culture hasn't really got to the point of seeing the king as such a powerful figure that it's acceptable for them to just go around establishing, subjugating people as tributaries. So we're going to have to resort to old casus belli that we had before these DLC. So using traditional claims, fabricating claims probably going to be a bit slow. So we've got to try and find ways of getting people who already have claims to take these lands on our behalf. We have to have a legitimate reason for them to become our vassals after we push their claim and they get those lands. The easiest being making them our vassal beforehand, but we have to have land to do that. So we're going to find a way and see how much of Ireland we can reclaim. To start with, this Duke of Wales, who's just across from Lagan, across this strait crossing, could take that county and give us a nice continuation of our lands through to what we already control in Ireland, which is currently cut off a bit in terms of the way you can move troops across without raising galleys. And the other way that we could get claimed is we took this bit of land here personally. So we could grant this out to someone with a claim on one of these duchies to make them our vassal before we press the war. It could help us consolidate that power before Denmark rolls in and takes Ireland off our hands and really closes us in. Catastrophic long term. So it's a bit of a race against time. And because we're Catholic, like with the Duke of Normandy, how he legitimised his claim against the Kingdom of England when he invaded in 1066, we can ask for the Pope for claims against other Catholic rulers. So, for example, this ruler here, they're a child, they're quite weak, they're not very suitable. In fact, the Pope he dislikes them a little bit, and he likes us. We're diligent, we're kind, we're a brilliant ruler, we're very pious. So he could be convinced quite easily to give us this claim. He could be pushed over the edge on this one at least. So we're going to go to the Pope, go down to Rome, and we're going to send him a gift. Now it's going to cost quite a bit of money, but you know, we can just make a donation to the church because we're such a pious, loyal Catholic ruler, and that should then mean that the Pope is willing to give us a claim. See, that just pushed him over the edge there, and it made enough of a difference. And that's another war going to be in the bag. And looking for claimants, what I did see is that the Queen of France has strong claims on both of these counties. And actually, he's just launched another war trying to push out Denmark. He's not going to push his wife's claim for just this one county up in here against the King of Denmark. But for this whole duchy down here, to reclaim his lands in Flanders, well, it may just be this part of it here. You know, that's worth consolidating before Denmark spreads out in Europe. But he really doesn't have the power. I mean, if we look at how many allies of that reformed Germanic faith have come together, along with just the strength of Denmark himself, really that's doomed to fail like Germany's attempt. So you can see how much of a threat Denmark is becoming to the entirety of Christian Europe. And there is a claimant here for just this county. So we're going to get about half of Ireland in these three wars. One of the important reasons for fighting wars simultaneously against lots of small realms is that threat system. So after we claim more land, we become more threatening, small realms are going to join together to defend against us. So after this war, if there were any other people left in Ireland, they're definitely going to be in a defensive pact, possibly with other kingdoms nearby. So definitely the Kingdom of Brittany will join in. So there'll be a defensive pact with at least these three and Strathclyde against us, resisting any further wars. So we're going to invite this claimant to court. You do have one in the court of this count down here already. However, he's not as good, and so actually we do want the ruler to be fairly competent. And we're going to grant him this bit of land up here, which is fairly close to there. And since it'll be Reconquista succession, it'll probably end up splitting anyway.
I'm playing the King of England. It's getting rough. These soldiers are pretty tough. Want to get a crusade, but I keep on giving all these maids lovers parks. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Got these stats. Got a new pack of DLC for £5. Yeah, I'm on that baller shit. Sorry, I said loser shit. Yeah. I tried to say baller and I said loser because I just was so distracted by how much of a loser you are. Oh yeah, eating. Yeah. Retreating! Yeah, we lost that war, but we managed to gain some more lands in the shit. Yeah, mnemonic. Oh yeah, smooth-throated. Drinking Ribena, hope not to choke on it. Yeah.
And after raising all our levies, we're going to lower those of our vassals that don't particularly like us, to avoid annoying them with that levy raised penalty. Because we've got plenty of troops as it is. They're tribal, but they won't have vassal allies because they're so small, they don't really have any vassals. Now, in our first battle down here, we've captured one of those rulers, which results in an instant war victory. So that gets us the county of Lagan. These troops from the Isles, because his capital is where they're raised, and that's right up in the Hebrides, they just take too long to come down. So I'm probably not going to raise those in the future. Oh yeah, I just drank some of you. My throat's so smooth.
Smooth-throated.
Tobias coming here, gonna rock out.
Pneumonia. Don't you hate when you...
We're going to go in a little hook around to avoid the river crossings this county has with here, here, and here.
Don't you hate it when you have pneumonia and you ruin your senses? You can't drink Ribena because you can't taste it, but then your smoke gets so smooth. Juice! Yeah! You weren't expecting a rap solo, were you? Mnemonic cough interlude. That was good. That was good.
We've got a posterity event. So this is the system we noted last time with the introduction of the DLC that also introduces the plagues. There is a posterity mark here, just above the hospital consideration. So we can see the effects has more tax, far more levies, reinforcement rate. So that means when we introduce buildings that increase our maximum levies, or we gain a martial skill that increases our maximum levies, or we lose levies from battles and attrition, they're going to come back far quicker. I mean, 20% per level seems quite significant.
It was actually quite good.
I even rhymed something.
Yeah.
And then I panicked and just said juice. And I just came up with juice.
That's what sent me over the edge, is you just saying juice. It's still going.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah, this is ad-lib.
This is the ad-lib. This is
strange. The King of Germany requesting to marry one of our lowly courtiers. They're not related to anyone in particular. They're also a lunatic with great pox, syphilis, and born weak. This is possibly the worst character they could possibly pick. But they're clearly very desperate. They're defending against even more wars. They're defending against France. They're defending against more Norse conquerors, and they're defending against a revolt. So, really, the situation in Central Europe is deteriorating as much as it is in the north of the British Isles. So we are being quite surrounded here. Just as we're finishing off this war over in Connacht, we've seen that our daughter, the incredible Prodigy, who's quick, a grey eminence, a master of diplomacy, and frankly a master of everything, their betrothal's been broken off, and they've had a bastard child from an unknown father. Oh, no, not from an unknown father. He's not accepted them as his child because it's not here. But this man up here that we invited to our court, granted this title, and we've just finished pressing his claim over here. And it seems as soon as he got that title, he went around focusing on seduction, and apparently went straight for our daughter. And again, this threatened by epidemics notification. If the situation wasn't bad enough for the people of Holland, there's now a measles outbreak, and actually it started crossing the channel. So when we do have a lot more wealth, one of the things I might do, rather than just focusing on upgrading this hospital here, which actually we have to wait for more technology to do anyway, is upgrade hospitals in these surrounding counties. So hopefully we sort of deflect infections around our capital, especially when something extremely infectious like the Black Death comes along. I don't think hospitals are going to do much to stop that. They're not stocked with antibiotics. Now let's see who we can remarry this daughter to. So if we go on marriages, there are a couple of kingdoms available here. We're definitely not going to go for Scotland. That's about to stop existing. But how about Leon? If we go, if we click over to that. Oh, blimey! So they're resisting the Umayyads very effectively over here. Oh, and actually, bloody hell, he's united Arles and Galicia as well. This man has 3 kingdoms. He's practically an emperor. Right. Are those Gavelkind though? Yes. So those are all going to split on succession, unless he can actually form an empire, which he's only 11. He's got time to do, because there is this Empire of Hispania here, which, oh no, he'd have to wait for the bit that Umayyads have already claimed to stop being considered as your part of Hispania, because to form an empire you have to control 80% of it, and he does control 80% of this part here, but this bit that the Umayyads have just claimed, they've claimed 75 years ago, 25 years ago, it's going to be another 75 years before it's accepted that yes, that does belong to the Umayyads as part of their empire, and Hispania is just this section up here. So he's actually a bit early, which means those titles are going to split amongst his children. However, we can at least get our dynasty to be related to all of those. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get three separate kingdoms all into our dynasty, because he's not going to accept a matrilineal marriage. He's a king. Why would he do that? And at this stage, there are no weird tricks with who's controlling the marriage. He's already the king. He controls his own marriage. But that's definitely worthwhile. And actually, giving him such an incredibly powerful wife is going to massively strengthen the Christian resistance to the Umayyad invasion. It may, in fact, single-handedly remove the need for a full Reconquista, sort of half the work. And that's going to be very important, because Christendom's already falling a little bit in the north. We can see here, actually, if we go back to realms, look at this. They've taken all sorts of little bites out of Germany. It's really quite threatening. So at this rate, the Crusade's actually going to be north, not south. Oh, and our mystic, who potentially a witch, but actually they're a zealous Catholic, so that's a bit of an odd accusation. Exploring advancements in medicine, so maybe we'll get our antibiotics after all. And is that measles coming up to us? No, it's staying back a little bit. I mean, that hospital seems to be working, and it's not spreading around actually. We do seem to be fine this time. And there seems to be a wave of republicanism across Europe, which is rather too early for. Peasant revolt here, peasant revolt there. There was another in Germany, all demanding independence. We're not going to get the Republic of Hereford, although they would, I'm sure, make brilliant cider, which would make the debates quite exciting. But no, that's not going to happen. Kill them all. And our wife has gone on a visit to the Kingdom of Hungary, and because they're just such an incredible diplomat, they've decided to offer us a non-aggression pact, and it sounds like a free movement agreement. So already got republicanism in the EU. We're really ahead of schedule here. I'm checking in on Scotland because it's been a little while and they've not lost an invasion yet. And actually, they're winning. And this side doesn't have any other wars. But it's not actually the liege joining in. So who are this guy's vassals? It's just this guy. So it's just Orkney. It's not actually his liege or others joining in. Although it's a prepared invasion of the kingdom, he could have gathered support. He doesn't seem to have. So actually, Scotland's going to win this war, which is brilliant for us, because that means after Scotland's do the work of fighting off the Norse for us, we can come in and just take everything they've worked for ourselves. And therefore continue their legacy and honour them in defending off the Norse with an even bigger army. Oh no! Our wife, at just 51, has developed cancer. They were great statesmen, greater than us actually, and at 78 we're pulling through, and but only at 51 we'll call for the fort position, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go for a peaceful retirement. of not being invaded and not trying to expand, and everyone can just calm down a little bit. We get that revolt bonus of -1. Further on, seeing the realm prosper in his twilight years, our court physician has suggested a little early NHS, which is really far cheaper than the real thing, but I imagine not very good. But it says a significant prosperity boost, so they're operating on a good budget. There, her medicine work's done. Her research we funded earlier, not groundbreaking, but she got a little bit better at it. This person in our prison's education just finished. We got a notification. We're very proud of them for getting the max level education. These are one of the people we captured in our Welsh subjugation wars, but we've not been able to ransom them out. See here, if we try to offer the ransom, it says they can't afford it. Now, they may have had no interest in ransoming out, which may not be why it wasn't an option initially when we were clearing out our prisons back to them, or they may just have run out of gold from those other prisoner exchanges. However, when I clicked on them to see why have they run out of gold, partly it's because they're fighting against this revolt, so they have their troops raised, which is expensive. But also I noticed, looking at them, they've got cancer as well, so and they're only 25, so the health of England is not as good as it seems, from just the perspective of this man. And why weren't we told? We got a notification about someone in our prison getting a good education, but not about our wife dying. It would have just popped up on the side, I assume. That's just that's not a people you know dying is just a notification. Apparently, the wife's not than any different than anyone else we know, according to CK2. Well, on that bombshell, good night.
Mnemonic smooth throated.